Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for tuning in, listening here. My name is Christian Martin of Christian Martin and Associates, a sports and technology consultancy firm specializing in agile frameworks and partner of the upcoming SportIn Global Summit. The SportIn Global Summit is a three-part virtual event bringing together the greatest minds in sports from all over the globe to talk about data and the future of the sports industry. We had part one on August 26th in the Americas, where we brought together 5 amazing speakers from that part of the globe. Later, on September 30th, we had an additional 5 speakers speaking about the whole context of sports and the future of sports in Europe. And now we will have our final part, which will be in Asia Pacific with another 5 amazing speakers. Today, I'm joined by one of those speakers. His name is Neel Shah. Neel has nearly 2 decades of experience working in the development and commercialization of football, or soccer, across North America, Europe, and India, and has been in the forefront to connect the East with the West through sport. He worked with a number of high-profile football clubs to establish and build their businesses within India, including FC Barcelona, Manchester United, and Liverpool FC. He has also helped grow Major League Soccer's fan base for a period of 7 years as the league's director of fan development and grassroots marketing. Currently, he is the person behind the conceptualization and establishment of India's first designed sports management education program, the Global Institute of Sports Business. Neel, thanks for being here. How are you today?
Doing very well, Christian. Thanks so much.
Right on. Well, thank you for being here, and let's just dive into it. So can you tell us more specifically, what are you currently doing in the sports industry?
Yeah, I am doing 2 things. 80 to 90% of my time is running the Global Institute of Sports Business. So it is an industry-designed sports management institute tied up with the University of Massachusetts Amherst. And so I love it. So I focus most of my time on the education space and just ensuring that we're nurturing and providing the best we can for our group of postgrad students. The other side is working with the parent company of GISB, which is called India On Track. It's a sports management and marketing firm with offices all over India with many verticals as well. I oversee new business for IoT as well.
All right. Thanks for sharing that. And can you give us a little context? How did you first get into sport? What was your first sports job?
It's a long story. I'm going to tighten it very, very tight. I grew up in California, played a lot of soccer, and at the age of 16, MLS launched. It was 1996, and I was 100% sure I wanted to work for Major League Soccer. I wanted to be at the highest levels of soccer in the U.S. from a business perspective, and went across the country. Got my MBA in sports management after I graduated from my undergrad program. And it sounds weird, but I was living in New Jersey. I would go to New York, and one day I was visualizing standing outside of the MLS office in 110 East 42nd Street, and across from it was at Grand Central Station. And I had just called the receptionist. I called the main line, and because I had sent some emails, some letters back then. It was 2002. And I didn't get much of a response. And so I just cold called, and the receptionist answered. I kind of shared my life story with her and shared how much I want to work for MLS. It's like a 6-year plan I had. And she connected me with which is, I don't know how it happened, but the vice president of marketing and special events. And he took my call. I shared a lot with him, and he just said, look, I like your story. Why don't you come in for an for an interview? And I did 2 weeks later, and that turned into a internship. And then 3 months later, I became the coordinator of fan development of MLS, and the rest is history. So it could take many different ways, but sometimes it's just a cold call when you're uncomfortably stalking across the street in the office and visualizing yourself there. But it somehow worked, so I'll take it.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that happened for you. That is a good story. And here's our last thing here. Can you tell us, with regards to the summit, what are you going to be talking about? Just a little sneak peek on what we could expect to see.
So it's a mixture. I know the topic is data and data in sports, and so I'll make sure I do cover that. However, since I'll be representing India, and I think there's just a lot of fascination with the Indian sports landscape and what's happening, not just in cricket, but in a lot of other sports like soccer or kabaddi, or even in basketball or table tennis and so on. So I'll be touching on just a general overview of what's happening in the landscape and what we see over the next few years as it grows. And maybe even some of the opportunities if you're an individual or an organization looking to jump into the Indian sports landscape and be a part of it. What do you need to know and look out for? And then the data side will tie into really the ecosystem, but with also just a focus on what specifically is happening in terms of on and off pitch data within the Indian sports scene as well.
All right. Well, that sounds like a fascinating area to dive into. So thank you for sharing that with us. And for those of you who are watching, remember we have the SportIn Global Summit, the Asia Pacific Part 3 happening on October 28th. Be sure to check out sportinglobal.com/summit to get the registration details and get yourself signed up. You could also find the profiles of all the speakers for all of our events at sportinglobal.com. So thank you again, Neel, for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you on October 28th.
Thank you, Christian. Look forward to it myself.
All right. Take care.